Welcome back, Rare Talks. You already know what it is. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't already, please go over to the Spotify and check out all the newest episodes. This episode will be up on the Spotify right now. So if you haven't gone to our Spotify, please go to our Spotify and check out all of our exclusive content that we got on there. So I'm joined today by my brother, none other. And you know what? I like to make people introduce themselves. I don't like introducing people. So introduce yourself, my brother, and tell them who you are.
Yeah, man. FOT, aka London Open TV. Yeah, man.
Yeah, love. Fire the truth. So I saw this brother online. I liked the content that he was pushing. You know, I like what you were saying. So we're gonna get straight into it. As we can see, of recent, knife crime has been on a spike. Every time we do an episode, the day before or the morning, someone dies, and this is another episode of another person losing their life to knife crime. What do you think what solutions do you think that we can put in place to help curb knife crime?
Do you know what? Yeah, I just think that it's going to take a drastic measure. Like, I hear man talking about we need more studios, we need more football camps. Bruv, we got enough artists, we got enough footballers. You understand? We need to more focus on the academic side as well and pushing that to the forefront. Like, we need scientists, we need doctors, we need lawyers as well. We just don't need entertainers all the time. You know what I mean? Especially for our young youths. Like I was thinking, like, when I was walking even here, I was like, all these billboards and that, it's just famous people kind of thing, you know, footballers, singers and rappers. Like, we need billboards in ends that promotes good people. You know what I mean? Like, people with education and like, say, like, here's Toby. He grew up in Brixton, but now Toby's a scientist. Not just, oh, I'm a rapper and I made it out of the hood. Now, Toby was in the same hood as that rapper, but he made it out through education. You know what I mean? So I think it's, in our community, I think we glamorize the bad man image so much. Even me, myself, unconsciously, you know what I mean? Like, I'll call this guy a Nick or this guy that because he's smart. Yeah. He's intelligent. But I'll call my man official because he's been jail and he stabbed someone, or he moves bare food, you know? Like, he's official, but that's a brainwashing, bruv, that we need to kind of like face full on and just let go. I've even been seeing artists like Styles P and them type of man saying some real stuff lately. He's like, raw, we need to promote nerding up to our kids.
Yeah, 100%. I heard him say that as well, and I was with that still. Because I was thinking, raw, the nerds that went to my school actually just cut through. They're still alive now. They're not on nothing. They got through life. They're doing well in life, and everything's good for them. They didn't have to go through, like, man fearing that their life might be at risk.
Exactly. And I noticed, this is a mad thing I noticed about school. The dons that were swaggered up, making the most jokes, had the most gal, yeah, them dons are the ones that got into the street life, bro. You see, man, like Abdul, you had bus up shoes. His mum sent him in some tight trousers, bro. You know what we
And you reminded me of someone still,
bro. You know them man you play patball with, and he's got the dry ankles and that, fam. Like, them man there are the doctors now. Them man there got 3 houses. You get me? And us, man, that stuck to this hood life, we're still out here. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong. I must push this out there. There's nothing wrong with being in a council house, because some people don't even believe buying a house is the best investment. You might have a restaurant, you might have this, but I'm saying, like, Abdul's got 3 houses though that he owns now. You know what I mean?
Straight.
And I'm still a Lambeth tenant.
Yeah, you know? That's it.
You know what I mean? For being the class clown and the gal them sugar.
Yeah,
like,
it makes sense.
You know?
So that's deep, man. So you think that we should start promoting kids being nerds, and it's nothing wrong with being a nerd, because I feel like we push the agenda of like, oh, my man's a neat, my man's a prick, man. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, right, my man's smart, you know, I wish him the best. It's like in our communities, we don't embrace that enough. It's like we kind of look down on people that are like that to a certain extent. And that's where the problem actually lies in our community. So you're thinking that we need to embrace different ideologies of how we see the youth.
Yeah. Do you know, I'll be real, man, yeah, because this is rare talk podcast here. Like, even with my son, the brainwashing is real. he's smart, you know what I mean? He's intelligent, but sometimes like, rah, rah, rah. Sometimes even I'm like, rah, man, like, I can't describe it. Like, where's the badness in it? Like it's like I want to see something, but for Christmas he's asked me for books, and I'm like, don't you want Jordans, cuz?
Yeah.
And after, it's like that conversation back on my head, I have to reprogram myself. Like, no, this is how I want him to be. You understand? Because I always wanted my son to be smart, but he can handle himself. That's why I got him into martial arts from young. So now he might be the smartest in the school, or he's not the smartest in the school. He's intelligent or whatever, but he can handle himself. But you wouldn't know it by his persona. You understand that he can fight because martial arts disciplined him from a young age, from 8. So now he just carries himself right. Sorry, but if he kicks man or something, he's breaking man's ribs. You know what I mean? Even though that ain't gonna save man against the knife crime, and that's what some people say to me. That ain't gonna save man against the knife, but it's good to have in your locker. And it's not just about knowing how to fight. It's the discipline and sticking to something. That's what people get. It's not so he can beat up everyone. It's to teach him that you carry on doing something, you'll get something out of it. Now he can just unknowingly fight. His reactions, you know what I mean? Like he can just unknowingly kick and punch and thing, but he can also pick up a book. You know what I mean? So it's just about getting the balance. Like I was saying about the billboards in Lambeth, Brixton, Kenneton, I'm seeing bare billboards of rappers and all these people that just glamorize the BS. Where's the billboards of the lawyers from the ends and the doctors and the scientists, and you know what I mean? And where's them type of billboards in the ends? Where's the billboard with Dexter Sims on it? Or Justin, who's a basketballer who grew up in Mikesfield, you know, he grew up in the hood. Justin grew up in the hood, just like the bad boys from Mikesfield. But he stuck to basketball. Now he's one of the most renowned basketballers in the UK, you know what I mean? So he's not being pushed to the forefront, you know what I mean? Like, what people should be talking about him, but we talk about the man, oh, they made it out, the struggle, oh, it was hard, and but my man made it out as well through his brain and his intelligence, not just glamorizing it to get out, not thinking about everyone else. Because enough of these rappers, what they do is they glamorize the ends, the violence in the ends, but they're off ends now. And you're still glamorizing the BS in the ends. So the youths in the ends are still feeling the effects of the seed in your music that you put out. So you're off ends, quay off ends in the middle of nowhere, Mukulan, and your music still having a vibration in the ends because you don't rap about that ends where you live now, Gloucestershire or wherever, or Yorkshire. You rap about Brixton, but you don't even live in Brixton no more. You see what I'm saying?
And then the ops are sliding through, and whoever they find is whoever they find.
It's whoever they find, fam. It's mad. It's mad.
They're only pushing the images of the youths that are rapping, and they're talking about destroying their own communities.
Or not even just that, the footballers as well, yeah. Because what is with football now? Where I grew up, yeah, most of the the most wickedest man were the best at football, bruv. You know what I mean? But only a certain amount of footballers can make it. But now you got everyone on the ends wanting to be a striker. Not everyone can make it. But that's what's being pushed. You can only make it out through football and music. You know what I mean? And how much rappers make it from ends? The ends I'm from, Kenneton, a handful of man made it out, but there's bare rappers. But so-called made it out. They ain't even fully out yet. They say they're out because they got a Rolex and a whip. You know what I mean? But that don't mean you're out because the drama's still following you. You know what I mean? So I just think, like, with the entertainment thing, that is being too pushed on our community, man. I've seen man on the news say these things like, oh, we need more studios. Like, what? Bruv, there's a studio on every corner of the ends.
Trust me.
How much more? And promoting more studios and even implementing the government to bring in studios don't make no sense. Let's use the studios we've already got then. You know what I mean? Like man's got studio on ends. Use their studio. Why do we need more studios? That just rattled my head when I hear people say them things like, why? We've got enough rappers, like, you know what I mean? And we've got enough space for them to do their activities. But with the entertainment thing, I just think it's kind of got poisons now. Everyone wants to be an influencer, this, that. And it's affecting our youth state of mind, bruv. I think it's affecting them on a big level because that's all they want to be. And you can't all make it in that field. We got to make, it's like they think they don't even need education. A lot of people are promoting this like entrepreneur thing, like everyone can be an entrepreneur.
But if everyone's an entrepreneur, then who's the workers?
Exactly. And I saw something the other day that said basically who's buying your stuff? It's the working man. So never put down the working man, because the working man funds everything. You understand? The 9 to 5 funds everything. Even the weed man, who funds you the best? When I was doing my thing, I love the man that worked, bruv. You get me?
Trust me.
Because I know every Friday when he gets paid, he's coming for his 3-5, or he's coming, you know what I mean? Like, they're the best customers, is the 9 to 5, because they got the consistent P's. And remember, it takes time to become a successful entrepreneur. I'm not saying you can't become one, but I'm saying don't put all your eggs in one basket, because a lot of these youths will start a business now or whatever, then it will have its up, then when it goes down, they're thinking, oh, let me go OT to get it back up quickly. So everything's quick now. When if you build up your money over time, like you leave school, you do your college, and you got a little job, and you stack your P's up to your 25, then you have like something to fall back on, instead of just putting everything into one. But there's nothing wrong with becoming an entrepreneur, but I just think everything works hand in hand. You could work for a company, and even the company I'm working for now, it's a delivery company or whatever, I'm seeing how it runs. I'm like, right, is this all what they're doing? And it's a £1 billion company within a year, and all they're doing is A to Z. So I'm seeing the building of the company. So that's how a young person should go into a company, see, oh, I want to see the ins and outs of this company to see how it grows. Then I can apply it to my business, instead of just going in there following someone off the internet. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, facts.
So basically, I'm saying I think you can learn a lot of a 9 to 5.
Of course you can. Of course you can. And I think that's not what's promoted to us in general. I think what's promoted to us is the fast life. And growing up, that's what we saw. And the youngest saw that. And then the youngest from there saw that. And it was just a spiral from there. And then, you know, the person that's working 9 to 5, that's smart at school, that's not staying out of trouble, he's a nerd, I don't rate him, he's a neek, blah, blah. But them men are just cutting through and just living life. Them men don't have to worry about feds licking off their door, or man trying to lick them down for their food or anything. So yeah, I respect that still. Another topic that I wanted to discuss is it all right for a white person to use the N-word? I've been getting into this debate because there was a video of somebody, a white guy actually, saying the N-word in one of his songs, but I don't know, it just touched me in the wrong way, man. It just touched me in the wrong way, especially when you're from the ends, because it's a little bit different. In America, I don't know how they are. It's different, their society and their culture. But in the UK, I couldn't be rolling with 3 white youths and they're like, yeah, well, go on, mate. Because I'll be like, nah, brother, nah, we're not. It's
not like that.
It's not like that, you know what I'm saying? And I would think that they would have enough respect for me that they wouldn't even want to say something like that. So what's your thoughts on a white person using the N-word?
This one's a tricky one, because the reason why I say it's tricky is because I understand why white people use that term so loosely now. I overstand it, especially I'm talking about white youths who are from a hood, like not a hood, like from a more urban area, let's say, from a more black populated area. Why they might slip up sometimes say, yo, my nigga, like, because they're around bare man that's using that term loosely. So, and when you're in the club now, a white person's in the club, they're trying to dance or whatever to the black tune here, and they hear the N-word, they're saying all the words, and it says nigga, and they have to freeze them out, then carry on rapping the tune. To me, we've made it so accessible, but at the same time, it's such a big trigger for us. Like, it's like man pressing the nuclear red button, like scared of Trump to press it. Like, as soon as someone says nigga, we spaz out. Like, someone says nigga. Like, why has this word got so much power over us? If they called us grapes in slavery, would the word grapes affect us now? You know what I mean? Like, or banana or whatever, rose, or would that affect us? And I think we give the power to the word. You know what I mean? Like, I think we give too much power to this word. And even after them man missed their penalties and that, and all the white people say, oh, you niggas and all this, like, I was like, what did we expect? In the sense of we use it loosely. So I don't know another word that one race can use, but they can use it to so-called endear themselves. But when someone says it to them, it's an offense. people say the P word, Paki, they use it with each other, but they don't glamorize it. Not all of them use it. You understand? It's not as a bigger thing in the black community as nigger, as we use it as endearment. And when someone says it's endearment, I don't even understand that. Because how can it be an endearment but such a big offence in the same line?
Because I understand that now. So my thing is, I understand that as a negative word that was used to belittle us and make us feel unworthy and unloved and less of a person is now been switched to a word of love. Because you don't really call someone the N-word unless you got love for them. You don't just go around saying, you know what I'm saying? You don't say everyone's my N-word. You only say that to people that when you really got love for them. So the word's been transformed from something negative into positive, but it's only exclusive for black people. See, that's where I think we don't see it. And the reason why a black person will take so much offense when a white person says it is because historically it brings back bad memories, because the word has a history towards it. So even though the context we're using it now, the history of the word has been used as to belittle a black person. So it's always been used. If you watch, I don't know, I watch all these mad slave shows. Don't ask me why I do this to my brain, but I watch all these mad slave shows. 12 years as a slave. And he was a smart black man, but they never liked when people called him a black man. They said, don't ever think you're a black man. You're just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The N-word. Yeah. And he would be like, so they wanted him to know that this word is a word of us using a control over you to show you that we're higher than you and you're less than of a person than us. So that word through history has had a negative effect. So a white person, because of racism and being against racism, should automatically in his heart. And that's the reason why a white person will call you their N-word when it's love, but when it's hate, they also call you the N-word. But a black person to another black person, whether it's love or hate, I can never use a hateful word against you because I'm that person as well. I can't say, I hate you, little N-word, because you're going to look at me like, brother, you're just like me though. I'm going to be like, yeah, but you're worse than... You know, like, that's the stupid mindset I don't get. When another black person thinks he's better than another black person because he's from a different country, that's tribal and that's silly. But I'm saying, with that word, as a white person, because of the history that it has, it doesn't make it acceptable. And me personally, do you go around saying to white people, you're my N-word? Do you say that?
No. Like, I don't even use that word like that anyway. And it's just out of choice, innit? I think everyone's got the choice to me, a nigger, if you want to use this, the word nigger is a state of mind to me, innit? It's a certain state of mind within our community. It's a low frequency within our community that people use this word, but it's not endearment, because endearment is like when you call a girl babe or honey or sugar lump. All them words are like nice words kind of thing, but nigger now is something that was used against us in such a way. If they're not allowed to use it, we shouldn't use it. That's just how I see it, plain and simple, because there's too much of a grey area. How can we dance to this song that says nigger, 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 then we're offended when someone calls us a nigger, when hip-hop is the biggest flipping brand in the world. Hip-hop is the biggest commodity in the whole world. Everyone listens to hip-hop more than rock and roll, more than country and western. Now hip-hop is the main brand. So how can we be surprised when it's so loosely used? I think it's just like you said, it's a trigger thing. Like why are we still triggered by this word so much? I don't get it no more. I'm like, if a white person called me a nigger, yeah, I wouldn't even be fazed.
In your face, aggressively, he said, nigga, you're going to bang him in the face. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. In an aggressive way, man come up to you and says, yeah, you little nigger. You're going to be like, what? Boom. Yeah. Because you know that it's an aggressive thing. It's like when a man says, suck your mum. Yeah. That, you know what that means. When a man's in your face and says, suck your mum, you know the talking's all out the window. Yeah. You might say words, sticks and stones don't hurt my bones, but just the whole body language, everything, you're going to feel like it's a very confrontational time. And that's the same with that. I never grew up in the era where racism, just before my era, I think it was just like, 10 years before me, because I'm in my 30s now, so it's like 10 years before me, I think like all the people were telling me racism was bad. When I was growing up, racism wasn't really that bad in my era. I don't remember, there was areas that were racist. Yeah. Like Pollard's Hill. Yeah, Pollard's Hill. Mitchum. You man are racist down there. Yeah. Man ain't forgot what you lot done. Yeah, don't think man's forgot. But other areas, like, they weren't really racist, but Pollard's Hill was a racist area. Like, I remember we went down there and madness happened, but yeah, Pollard's Hill is a racist area. That's one place in South that I know is racist, but there's more parts in South that's racist. But that part specifically for me, I found racism there. I never really went through racism growing up where it was like, white people jump out of vans and start chasing man. I don't remember that. I don't remember that. And we was kind of squadded up. So if that did happen, it would be mad for them because we'll be on to them. So I didn't really go through that. But I still think that using the word loosely, as a white person, you should have respect for yourself and respect for people. And
so we should have respect for ourselves then, and not call ourselves that as an endearment.
But I said the love. It's the love that we're using.
What love though, bro? I don't see it as love, because from someone can call me and I'm offended by it. How can I then see it as, oh, it's love now?
No, but my brother, my guy, he's calling me out of a place of love. Like I said, we've transformed.
All right, then this is the catch-22 then, because I was if a woman calls the next woman bitch out of love, is that endearment? No,
but that word hasn't got a historical racist meaning towards it. It doesn't have a racist.
But I'm saying it's still like the same type of thing. Like it's a dog. Like you know what I mean? It's a bad thing. There's no, you can't call someone a bitch. Like, oh yeah, she's my bitch, and that's love. But
I think some people say that. I'm not promoting that word. I'm just saying that there's some people that do say that in a loving way, but that word doesn't have an historical way of making a person feel belittled as
but they probably used to call slaves bitches as well.
Nah.
Yeah, 100%. Because a bitch is a lady dog. You understand? So when they,
I don't even think they're that smart. I think them racists, the people that are racist in them times were the most ignorant of people. Regardless, they had a lot of money and had a lot of land. I believe that they were very, very ignorant. Just because of the way they treated another race of people. I think it's only racism is breeded by ignorance. It's not breeded by intelligence. An intelligent person can't be racist because we're all one. You look at when we die, we all get put in the same grave. We look at when we bleed, we all bleed the same color. To me, racism doesn't exist with intelligent persons, only unintelligent people. And that's why all them football hooligans that you see being racist, they're very unintelligent. The other white people don't claim them people, some of them. But I do say that there is a part of racism where people are silent. And I believe that if you're silent upon oppression, then you're with the oppressor. That's my thought on it. So if someone's being racist and I'm in the room, and this person's being racist and I don't say nothing to him and I'm sitting there and then you come and say, well, why don't you back it? And you're like, oh, but I'm not racist because I never said anything. But by you sitting there and not telling them what they're doing is wrong, that's you being...
yeah, I think that's where other white people... This is what I say to white people now, is like, raw. You know racism's in your family or your peers are racist. If you just sit there while they're being racist, you're a racist. Like, that's how I see it. It's like me sitting there with a man I know's a paedophile. And I'm like, he's cool, man. That's my brethren. It's the same type of, it's the same type of energy. If you're there, if you ain't standing up against racism, then you're a part of the problem as well. But also I like to say this new wave of racism, or not new wave, that's been pushed to the forefront, we've got to be careful because it's a distraction. Because even a lot of the people accounts was offshore accounts, was all like bots. When people were checking up the accounts of the online racism, it was bare man with like 1 follower, 2 follower. And you got to remember the week before, there was like some thing on Twitter when everyone, bare accounts were posting the same thing. When lockdown is done, I'm going to remain wearing my mask. And there was like thousands of accounts with the same post. But when people looked at the accounts, there was all bots. So remember, the internet's their place, you know. It's not our place. The algorithms and that, especially not the internet. They don't control the internet. They control social media. So when they pushing all these tweets out there, Twitter, racist, bruv, who are these accounts? Do you click on these accounts to see how much followers they've got? Have they been active? How much pictures have they got up? Usually it's some dead account because they're trying to push that agenda. Look, just out of nowhere, they can hold 6,000 people in Wembley, just out of nowhere. Then just out of nowhere, you got this young black player taking a penalty, that is the most important penalty in England's football history in the last 50 years. When you had Sterling on the bench, you had other man on the bench that was more qualified than him. You made this young guy, why? Like 3 black players missed then we had all these racist tweets afterwards from bots. So racism is, in England, I don't think it's that much of a problem because, like I say to people, how much people do you know that's died from racists?
But I don't think in racism in the UK is it is like America where you get killed for being racist. Over here it's called covert racism. So it's racism where I'll smile in your face like this, like, hey, you're right, my black friend, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then behind your back I'm like, them black people, man, they make me sick, man.
But black people now. Yeah, let's just think out of the box now. When we're around white people, we go to our white brethren's dinner and that, then we go home, me and you's in the car going home, we're like, bruv, did you see their food, fam? Them white people are nasty, fam. Do you think I ate that chicken? You know, them ways there.
But is that racism or is that prejudice and discrimination? So we have to put words in its right context. So discrimination and prejudice is that I'm prejudiced against the person. Remember the definition of what racism actually is that you think you're superior to another person because of your color, and because of that you actually think that the other person's inferior.
Yeah.
So a black person thinking a white person's inferior is kind of mad. Because in positions of power, we're not in certain positions. And covert racism is not just what I just said. Covert racism could be inside of the social, into the workplace. So you have a few black people in good positions, but there's always above him, a white person.
No, bro, that you're touching on the realness there, bro. Because even this, I've only been working for 2 months, and I've seen the racism.
Yes.
Like the covert racism.
Yeah,
like
it's not
there.
It's not, yeah.
Like we had a Jamaican manager here in our warehouse. I won't say the company's name, but he was the only manager in the company. When I tell you how much pressure they got on him till he had to resign, he was like, yo, me can't take it. They're on me because I'm the only black manager. They're on me. You understand? So I've seen it firsthand. I'm like, raw.
There's about 100,000 black men that suffer that on a daily basis in the UK, but are scared to speak up because they don't want to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
So a lot of men are scared to speak up because that income is their family, innit? That's their children, that's their missus, that's their yard, that's their car. So certain men won't speak up, but a lot of black people suffer this in the UK. So the racism over here is just a little bit different. It's
and
more
sometimes
institutional.
you've got guys in there, let's say tunes, I won't even say the other word, yeah, that kind of help them and they push that agenda. Because if I'm speaking out, they'll use like a next black guy to push me out.
Of course.
To trigger me off. Because I've been in this company for 2 months and the black guy really till I got him fired. How about that? I had to reverse the cards, like, hold on, am I dumb? You understand? Like, if I tell you what happened, I would tell, man, like, the youth pulled out a knife on me, bruv. And he came into my area, like, he was like a manager above me. He put the knife to his chest and he's like, stab me then, stab me. I'm like, bro, what's going on? But because I'm from the road, this you ain't from the road like that. I'm not from the road, but I grew up a certain way. I was like, I'll mash this you up in a second. But I knew there was a camera there, All I done was, I was like, bruv, you're nuts. You think I'll touch you? Just walked off, boom. Phoned the manager's like, raw, my man's lost the plot. You get me? Look on the camera and see what happened last night. Like, because I thought if I reacted and punched him up, I would have been in cuffs.
Yeah, straight.
I would have been in cuffs. So I reversed the thing. I was like, raw.
And man has to start getting that mindset that you see, let me give you something. Another black man will say, oh, that was snitching, what have you done? But let me just break something down to people.
That's what the youth was trying to do, run, snitch.
No, let me say something. You see, if you work in a work environment, yeah, and you're working for a salary. You're not a gangster at work. We're not in this gangster lifestyle where we have to follow codes of rules. Man follows the policies that the company give, man. Yeah. Man's not a road you if man's working. Just like to put that out there because a lot of people, they go into their workplace thinking they're roadmen. Brother, we're not roadmen. We're working a 9 to 5. We want money, legit money. That's what we're doing. This is called business and working. Man's trying to keep man's job, not lose it, and end back up on the roads. And then man's in the same position. And man's like, bro, what happened? Oh, man got me out. Like, what? Bro, we have to start embracing smart things, bro. Because as black men, it's like another black man will say something stupid and ignorant. Yeah, you're a snitch for that. You're a snitch for that. That's an ignorant thing to say when you're trying to maintain your job and not get yourself into madness where you could even end up in prison for 4, 10, 20 years. And the man will say, well, he's a real one. Real one what? When you think anyone cares if you're a real one?
And they're not giving my youths no money, bro.
Your son grows up with no dad. He's depressed. He's got issues. No one cares. You see what I'm saying? So all of that trying to be gangster at work, it's not, I don't know where that comes from. I don't know who told us that. And we have to maintain that kind of narrative. And I don't go by them street codes. I don't go by no street codes. I'm not in the streets to be wearing with no street codes.
But don't get twisted. It was hard for me to do. Like, I had to bite my tongue. Like, should I mash him up? Because I work, but the thing about my work, I work with bare youngers. So I thought about, if I react, you get me? I got to set the example. I'm one of the oldest, then all the youngers look up to me. So I was like, I'm going to do this properly. They was like, "Right, you should have mashed him up." You should.
No.
But then they was like, "Right, respect you for not touching him because he's an idiot." Because the youth's an idiot, bruv. Like, he's an idiot. You get me? Like, some Irish light-skinned youth, bruv. You get me? So it's like, bruv, you know, let me work brain on him because I'm.
No, you done the best thing. You done the best thing. I mean? You done the best thing, bro. You done the best thing, and I think that a lot of black people we don't talk to each other on that level. Like, man's doing smart things. Man, I don't want you to be unemployed, no job, homeless in your yard. Talk about I ain't got no dough. I'm a son. And man, I don't want that for no black man. In this day and age, we want progressive things, and it shows you that you've matured as a person. Because maybe when you was younger, you'd have mashed them up, and you didn't even care about the consequences. But as man gets older now, man can't. I can't. Like I said to my brethren, I think 2-3 days ago, I said, bruv, I haven't got a 10 years stretch in me right now at this age that I'm at. Maybe when I was younger, man, I'd have read that 10 years light work. Brother, I'd have enjoyed my sentence. But now at this age, we've got so much things going for me, brother, I can't even do that 10 years. I'm telling you, I'm thinking twice. I'm thinking, is it worth it? That's my thing now. Is it worth it? The years and this and the violation, can I live with it? Can I not? This guy, you know, I don't even need that. And I think that's more of a mature mindset. It shows that you've matured as a person and we're not little kids, because there's a lot of grown men walking around with little kid brains. And that's where you caught like man stabbing up man off the bus. You see the man that was on that vibe, rolling with a knife, and he's a big grown man. It's dumb, fam, because if I'm rolling with a knife at this age that I'm at now, what am I rolling with a knife for? To kill who? A 14-year-old or a 20-year-old you? Like, what am I actually on? Can't I speak to him and diffuse the situation as a big man?
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Do you think they should just bring it back to like the times, the medieval times, when you could just carry with your sword and your shield and like, I challenge you to a duel, like, you know, like them man will have to actually train and be more disciplined with the thing. You get me? Like, if everyone was just rolling with their sword and their shield, and you could just call a man out, I challenge you to a duel, you know, then it'll be more. I don't know. Then everyone can feel safe, and it could be a balance. You know, it'll be mad because it just be mad. You know what? That's it's. Hey, brother, that sounded kind of mad, but brother, that actually might work. Because then man who's serious about their thing will know how to use their thing and their shield. Then you have to train. Then it will become like a respect thing now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, man ain't just on it for no reason. Man wants to have a proper battle. Like, yeah, like man's meeting on the pitch. You're ready to do this. We're gonna have a proper, like, I see what you mean. But at the same time, I feel like I said, I got my own solution for this knife crime thing, and I've said it and I'll say it again. I'll say it openly. I think that we need to bring back the capital punishment for like a year. Just test it out and see what happens. People are saying all kinds of things. People are saying, but you know, maybe how much innocent people are going to get killed. I'm talking about the people that are killing people in broad daylight on camera, and the cameras are catching them. What do you mean? In what sense? Like they get licked down. If you kill somebody, you die as well. You know, I feel you, but I think with that now, where there's a grey area, I heard your thing when you said that still, but I didn't know how you meant it. Like, there's a big grey area, there'll be a lot of brothers' heads rolling. You know what I mean? And it'll probably be more used on us. No, but it'll be used on the people that are killing people, whatever colour you are. If you're killing people in broad daylight, in front of people, I feel like, bro, like, there's no, you know how mad it is now, having a child, and rolling down the road with your child. You potentially could see someone bleeding out with your child. Now imagine like a 4-year-old, they're seeing little cartoons and stuff here, but they're seeing a dead person and the little youth's limp on the floor like that, and blood's pouring out of his head and his neck, and he's just dying, and you're saying you're trying to hide your child's eyes, but you know, children looking, what happened to him? You're not gonna lie to your child, so you're gonna say, my man's dead. He got stabbed. Like, so all of us now are seeing dead people on the streets. Before, you wouldn't really see it like that. Now it's becoming too common and too bait. Like, man's grandma could be walking and probably get sliced in being in the wrong place at the wrong time. If man's gone that far with the murder thing, and they're saying it, you say it, Raggo, do man up in broad day on the main road. Like, they're saying it, they don't care. I do man in front of the feds. They actually mean it. These little youths are not joking. I don't take none of them for a joke. I have to bring this up, because that point you made there, but I'm trying to change the way I refer things to rappers. Like, I don't want to be like I'm getting at them no more. I want to be like I'm trying to overstand them, because that I'll say his name, Abracadabra, has got a new tune, and it's cool. And the chorus goes something like this: someone's son is going to die. Someone's son is going to die. That's the chorus. So to me, it's like you made a tune for parents to know that someone's son's gonna die. Like, I was baffled. I was listening to this tune. I was thinking, is this what man's really putting out there? And I got to understand, he's a younger brother. He's coming to new money. He's making it out of the so-called hood. But your team got so much P's, OTF or whatever. Why would you make... Like, the tune is so mad. If you listen to the lyrics in the song, I'm like, oh my God. And people saying drill's not a part of the problem, or the contents of drill is not a part of the problem. How is man saying someone's son's going to die in the chorus, bruv? Like, what does that even mean? Like, who is that song for? Because remember, you got to remember, when we was younger, you know, music was for everyone. Like, there wasn't music made for children. Now, there's music made for children directly because they got their earphones on, then they're more time. Like, remember when I was young, I grew up in a sound man environment, so there was one set for the house. Everyone's listening to the same music kind of thing. We went all in our bedrooms, like, because we didn't have phones, and listened to our separate music. Sometimes we might have a little record in our room, but you'll hear your parents' music and that. But now, drill music, big people don't really listen to drill music, like over 35. Like, but music back in the day, everyone listen. You understand? It was more one, like, oh, you'll go to all dayers dances and you'll hear big people music mixed in with the thing. But these youths are just listening to this, bruv. And you can't tell me that ain't adding fuel to the fire. If I was young, that would have put me in fear. Like, bro, someone's son's going to die. Like, who are you talking to? You know what I mean? Like, and it's like a thing where I want to understand these brothers. Like, I think you're talented enough to make music where you don't even have to spit like that. You understand? I think a lot of these little artists are talented, bruv, like proper talented. The Rush You, Abracadabra, them men are talented. So, and you gotta think, man can't tell me that's what sells. It's not what sells, it's what these labels are pushing. You understand? It's not what sells.
It's what man gets signed for and get their dough for. So that's what they're gonna keep doing, because that's what's getting them the views. And I realized that this era of views and wanting to be liked and likes and stuff like that, it's a dangerous era, because what happens is you lose all morality. And that's why sometimes you see kids doing some very shameful things online. And it's not to sound like I'm preaching. I don't want to sound like I'm preaching to anybody, because I'm not a preacher, but it just makes me realize that the direction that we're going in now as people is a very scary one. Like, for our morale as people, and there's no principles to do with this thing anymore. Man, I didn't even hear that tune about man says someone's son is going to die. That's kind of mad. Like, who are you actually directing that? I wouldn't actually know. Like, obviously it's a parent, innit? It's a mother or a father, and he has a mother and father, so he wouldn't like someone to say to his parents, your son's gonna die. So it's a crazy. That's.
And I think you hit the nail on the head with this wanting to be liked thing. That's why I always say on my page, I always say that on London Open TV, I'm not here to be liked. I don't care about being liked, innit? If man don't hear what I'm saying, just don't listen. You know what I mean? I'm just like saying my view on things, and I'm saying how it really is. Like, where is this going? Like, what I like to ask these youths that are beefing each other, the Bricky youths, or the Stockwell, the Kennett, like, where can we come to a middle ground? Like, because it's like, if you see the internet, what's been going on the last 3 weeks with these songs that's been getting released, check the last 3 weeks, the songs that's been getting released. It's like they're trying to hype up the summer. Like, remember summer tunes, when you get ready for summer tunes, like 10 years ago, it was summer tunes, girls, this is all splashings. Like, these men are talking about splashings for the summer. Like, where do you think this is gonna go? Where does this stop? Like, it's just mad. And you gotta think like, I have to say his name, what's his name? Charlie Sloth, doing some promotion thing for his drink, and he was like, I'm setting up my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and my great-great-grandchildren, so they don't have to work. Now, what people got to take into context is, if a black artist or a black DJ said something like that, it would sound a little different. They'll say, I'm trying to set up my community. I'm trying to set up my grandchildren and look after my community. So these, like, Caucasian people that are in the industry, they're not doing it for us. They're doing it for themselves, and they're benefiting of blood in our community. It's blood money. Like Charlie Sloth's benefiting like off for blood in our community, and you don't hear him say like, "Oh, this has to stop," or like he's just doing these things. Just sees it as I'm just a DJ. But a black DJ doing that now will have to kind of water it down a bit and say, "No, I'm doing this for my community." But he don't have to say that. When I heard him say that, I was thinking, raw. You don't hear black man really say they're just doing it for their family. They have to kind of say, like the Stormzy's, the Daves, and all the big dons, they have to say they're doing it for their community as well. But Charlie Sloth didn't have to say that, if you understand what I'm saying, because he's doing it to benefit himself and his family, not our community, because he's not part of our community. But he's got so much power in our community. It's mad, bro.
So you think that you know what, I said this recently, and you know I think nobody understood when I was saying this. I said a lot of these blog pages, they post all the bad stuff to do with what's going on in the black communities, but they're not even from our communities. So it's like doesn't that remind you of, do you remember them times when man used to say there was bare guns, I think in 2003, 2004, 2005, there was bare guns in the hood. All this shooting stuff is kind of, all this stabbing stuff's kind of new. Man back in the day would had their burners and they were slapping at each other, and bare man was dying, young man, everyone was dying, yeah. But man said one day, bruv, where are all these guns coming from? Like, someone's giving us these guns to murder each other. Now, don't you think these all these guys that are not from the community, white bloggers, but they're posting everything negative to do with the community, saying Nines versus C-Biz, this guy versus that guy, how this happened. Now they're, without them even knowing, they're infusing or inciting man to get on beef, because maybe I've kind of got over this, whatever this scene was here, but then I go online and I'm seeing this blog page is saying my man subliminally this, but I haven't even clocked it. But now I'm like, what is he onto me like that? Yeah. Idiot. But they don't know that by doing that, it's going to bring beef, because other men are going to say, "Rock, you think you're on this here? Watch." So it's like, are they taking from our community? And then not only that, but guess what else they're doing? They're monetizing off man's pain.
Yeah.
Now I want you to understand this.
1,000.
You get stabbed in the neck. I report in the news. I get 100,000 views. I get 200, 600, 800 pound off seeing one of you lot die. Though if you lot can't see where this is going, it's kind of mad. If man can't actually see where this is going, this is mad, bro. This is no different to man bringing in guns, giving it to us, the same as these blog pages that are inciting beef. If all you're pushing is negativity towards a black community and you're not part of that black community, what are you really? Man, nobody wants to speak about it, because you know everyone's scared. Nobody wants to talk about it because they don't want to get shut down, and they want people to not push their stuff. You see, this, I've kind of clocked all this stuff, and I've kind of work it out. They don't want to get blackballed. They don't want to get silenced, so they stay silent. It's better to be silent about these things. I don't want to talk too much in this. I want these blog pages to kind of push my content out there. But a lot of these blog pages are actually the worst of people. If you're pushing out only negative content on black people, and there's so much positivity in man's community, and that's what man's 100. Pushing out there. That's what man pushes out all these people. This guy is he's an author. This man is a community agent. This guy doing DVDs for 20, 30 years. I want man to see that there's more to just the community than just man dying, bruv. And suffering. There's way more to that, and I think people don't highlight that enough, and that's the scary thing right now. Yeah,
we just don't highlight enough. And what is these man? They make their money and they don't do nothing for us. It's mad, and it's like, how can't people see it? And you'll get blackballed. Like me, someone that like who likes to rap now and again, I had to make the conscious decision of like, raw, like say like me even saying like people's name like Charlie Sloth or whoever, or Tim Westwood, that could blackball, man. You understand? They could stop BBC playing my music. They could stop. But I'm like, it's a bigger cause, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even care no more. Like, I proper don't even care. Like I'm going to say it how it is, because the UK is so small. I think why everyone's shook in the UK is because the UK is so small. If you say something about man can just see you just anywhere. You know what I mean? Like America now, you could be in Texas and someone's in New York. You have to take a plane to my man. Everywhere in the UK is accessible. Drive, you don't even need to, you can just drive there 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, you're in Scotland. You know what I mean?
Trust me.
But in America now, you can kind of hide. You can be all the way over there, like, and he's all the way over there. So you can be a blogger and talk the truth. But over here, people are more scared because it's so small. You understand? Like, that's why even me, certain things I talk about and that, I'm like, certain people say, you better watch yourself, you know? I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Because I'm a black youth talking like this. Like, I've been threatened by certain people, like certain bloggers and this, that, for saying certain stuff, yeah? And they're like, do you know who I am? Rare. And I'm like, but if I was Piers Morgan or a white person doing it, do you know what you would do? You go on their show, present yourself properly and have a discussion with Piers Morgan. But because I'm a black youth, you're just approaching me like, raw. Like, you don't even want to debate with man on that. You're just taking it like it's a beef thing when we could sit down and actually confiscate and come to a level. Like, that's how clock people are fake, bro. I'm like, raw. But you go on BBC and explain yourself. But to me,
you'll come with bare aggression.
Bare aggression.
Yeah.
You would never move to BBC like that. You'll never go on a BBC interview and be moving aggressive. No, the reason why this happened, you move all politically correct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I catch man out. I'm like, raw, man's really, self-hate is real. And some people don't even know how much of a self-hate issue we have. Even people that think they're consciously aware. Even me, myself, sometimes I have to ground myself.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
That's kind of self-hate. You know, them ways there. Even when I see brothers and they're bending up their face. It was my mum that said to me the other day, because I was round here, some new youths moved in, but I was walking past, bruv, and they're just on a bending up their face thing. You know, the ways there. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with you? Then I come back past, they already see me, and they're still bending up their face. And I said to my mum's like, what's wrong with you? It's their eyes. Make them look. Why are you even thinking about them looking at you? It's their eyes. They could look at you for as long as they want. And that kind of grounded me, like, for real, man. You know, maybe it's me who's the problem. Maybe I should have held them because they're new to the area. I should be like, yo, what going, fam? You know, the ways there. So sometimes I still have to ground myself and be
all of us. All of us. I think that's something that we all need to work on. But recently you said you was advocating for people to boycott wireless. Why was that?
Oh, wow.
Man follows the page, bro. Man's in tuned.
Do you know what it is, yeah? Like, say when Wiley stood up, yeah, and he stood up against the thing, he was telling man them to build their own village, their own thing. We don't need these people. Because, like I said, I come from a soundman environment. My dad's a soundman, uncles, whatever. So when we was growing up, we had all days. We had control of our youths more. We don't have control of our youths now because they're going wireless and all these places that when you go there, they're pumping agendas. When we had our youths, we could pump our agenda in our dances. We could play a little Gregory Isaac and mix it in with some Dizzy Rascal, or you understand, like, so they can get an education at the same time. But these man now, wireless, they want our youths. They're saying to our youths, you got to be double jabbed or flowed tests, you know, the ways there. But basically they're saying you have to be jabbed. Like they're saying for the nightclubs in September, you got to be double jabbed to go in a nightclub for the COVID vaccination. I'm saying these man don't have an excuse. They're from the hood. Socally, these rappers. If you see the lineup, it's just bare hood man. Yeah, it's just bare man from ends. You know what I mean? Like it's dons that say they're on smoke, basically. So I'm like, raw, can't you lot see the agenda they're pushing? And if you lot boycott this, there won't be no wireless. There's only wireless because of you. Who are they going to bring there? Adele. And everyone from the hood's going to turn. It's in Crystal Palace. You know, it's in Crystal Palace, bro. You know what I mean? So, like, they put in, and this is what man's going down a rabbit hole a bit, but Crystal Palace, yeah, is a mad spot in England, like energy-wise. It's like one of the central spots. That's why they call it Crystal Palace, because the Queen had some Crystal Palace there before. So it's a mad energy spot. People don't understand. They're doing it there for a reason. Like, you know what I mean? And they're doing it there to all these people they got on the bill, the Skeptors, the this, the that, the this. Mick Mill's coming there, Rick Ross. Bruh, if you see the bill, it's so crazy. Then out of nowhere, even people on Twitter was like, how come you didn't tell us before we paid for the ticket that we have to have a double jab and all this shit? You understand? So it's an agenda they're pushing. So I'm saying to these rappers, stand for something. This is time to stand for something. You understand? All them rappers on the bill going like they got money, so missing out on one concert ain't really gonna do them.
Nah, man ain't missing out. Come on, man. You know these guys, man. Man will sell out for the thing, fam. They'll be watching a few months to see if man don't start doing the jab tunes for the
yeah.
You're gonna see it soon. I guarantee you, man's gonna say it slyly in their bars and that. Man will sell out for the money, bro. Just like when man made that England song, I didn't rate that, bro. I didn't rate that, and the reason why I don't rate nothing to do with all that England stuff is because England's is historically been known for racism. And even when they say that England stopped racism, the main like account holders for racism and people that were shareholders in all the slaves coming through was England. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. They weren't taking people as slaves, but they were selling them on. So you stop off here, we create a little contract for you, and then boom, we'll send you out. So it's a thing like, man has to know the history of what man's saying is coming home. Man knows what's really coming home. What's really coming home, though? This is what I'm trying to say.
Who's home? When man said it's coming home in that song, I was like, but who's home? This ain't your home. Like, realistically, this ain't your home. And it didn't make no sense because I was working outside when all them games were going. I never heard one of them white man there sing that tune, bro. And the thing why that tune pissed me off, because they had an opportunity in music terms, let's see it as business, to do something amazing, an anthem that could last for years. And they was just talking about juggins on a football tune, fam. They was talking about stabbing man on a football tune. I didn't get. I was like, what's this got to do with football? For one, you know what I mean? Like, the tune was like, man's talking about stabbing man, and one don was like, what did he say? Something about OT. If you play right back, I send you back right home if you don't bring back the food, or something like that. I was like, what has this got to do with football? That's why I say the football and the music thing over here is the thing that gets glamorized the most. But the reason why I don't get into the footballers as much, or I should say, big up my cousin the other day, he brought this to my attention. He said the difference between the footballers and the artists is footballers. Most footballers grew up in a bubble. Like, from young, there was institutionalized for young in the football academies. So they're mad brainwashed. But these rappers know what gone. They're out here, so they should be standing for the people. That's why I always kind of bring up Stormzy and Dave, and people don't like that. They're like, oh, you're hating, yeah. No, it's not that, because they've already made themselves known as political rappers. You've heard them say F Boris, you heard them say F Theresa. They've made big speeches on telling people to vote. But in the last year, where have they been? They ain't said nothing. This is unprecedented times. We're at war now. We're not at war, we're being attacked. We're at war, and these man ain't spoke, bruv. They've been silent, and that's booky to me. I'm not gonna lie, that's booky. You man been, and then when you come back, you do a video that's about rainbow colors and shit. I'm like, is that the smoke you're coming back on? Like, everything that's happened in the year, how much people supposedly die, COVID, lockdown, this is the tune you come back with. The two, if you Google conscious UK rappers, they come up first, bruv. You understand? In Dave's Wikipedia, it says he's a conscious rapper. So I'm like, but I ain't heard nothing. You ain't said nothing on vaccines, COVID. And my thing is about pro-choice. Even though they come out and said, if you take the vaccine, that's cool. But if I don't want to take it, don't judge me. You understand? Even if they came out with, I'm not against the vaccine, but just make us have a choice. They ain't said nothing. And I think that's spooky. Two of the youths with the biggest platforms. And they come back talking about Chip. Stormzy comes back still talking about Chip, still beefing with Chip, but not in a grime sense. Because to me, grime's powerful for UK in the sense of back in the day, you're like the same age as me. When you go to a grime rave, grime artists are there in each other's face. They're proper clashing face to face, and that's powerful for the whole community to see. Because you're dealing with something verbally, you know what I mean? So drillers now, they're more cowardly. I hate to say it, but it's more of a cowardly thing. You make a tune in your studio there, your studio there, this is my man's dead friend, my man's girl. Then when you see each other, you're just stabbing each other. It's not about the art. Grime was about the art, like who's got the best lyrics, who can get the crowd going. This is what's taken away from us, you understand? Was even rap battling was the same, but for the UK it was grime, innit? So even rap battling was kind of the same, but drill now is just about killing, man. That man say it's not about that. Artists go on interviews and they try to say, what did they say? I'm just playing a role, but these times I know, man. You know, they're always there. I know the dramas this person's in. I know it's real life more time. Like they're going through shit. They can't even go in certain ends. Furthermore, they're not even allowed in their own ends. When they come out of jail, none of these men even allowed to go back to their own ends, bruv. So you can't tell me it's just music.
No, it's not.
Music is a vibration. Music is a wave. Music. There's so much. Like if you hear a mad girl sing, bruv, and you get goosebumps, that just that alone. When you get goosebumps from someone singing, that should show you the power of music alone. Like man's body's all tingly and that. You know that. Just that alone shows you how much power is in music. So imagine the influence it has on a young child's mind. Hearing violence all day, bruv. And I'm not telling them to stop. I'm just saying, have balance. Where's the balance? There's no balance now. When we was growing up, Styles P, all these man, because we used to more listen to American music. Or even if we go to the UK, SMS, PDC, let's start with them because they're local. They had dons in their crews that rapped about love, bruv. You know what I mean? SMS. Would you ride for your brother? Die for your brother? Would you give a brother a hug? That's the first time we heard that in the hood. Like, Rob, what do you mean give man a hug? You know, they was there. Like they was promoting that and the gangster life. So it was balanced. Even though it was balanced. PDC had have to bring up the name, but back then, before whatever, because I don't know what go on. Devious. He used to talk about a lot of real shit, real pain and real struggles, and tell youths to stay away from the roads in certain bars as well. It weren't just all straight kill man, kill man, kill man. There was balance in the crews, you know what I mean? You'll hear other sides to the stories. You'll hear like Nadja Souls. Nadja Souls is a lyricist. He will tell you another side to thing, that it's not what it seems and stuff. That's the difference with now. Everyone's a bad man.
No, but you have to understand that drill music comes, it's the vibrations of the music. You have to understand you can't speak conscious on drill because no one's going to listen to it. Everybody just wants to hear that gangster stuff. You know what I'm saying? So,
but about thingy, what's their name? Spat Nation. They was getting traction and stuff, and they was spitting gospel bars. But even though they
was talking mad crud though. They was talking. Don't make me back out the thing. We used to back in there, so back out the thing. Now they back out the Bible. I'm like, huh?
The Bible's my mash. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah, man was talking mad. I save your soul. I'm like, brother, chill. Like, chill, bro. Like, chill. Like,
I actually went to their church a couple of times, you know. It was mad.
That sounds like a rave, fam. I can't imagine older people in there listening to that.
They weren't spitting. They weren't spitting. They weren't spitting. It was more like they said to come there for business, but when I got there, it was all spiritual stuff, innit? Like praying and rare. It was. Do you know what? It was powerful to see in certain elements because, like, it was all run by black kids, innit? Like, basically, everyone was under 31 in there, fam. Like, all the pastors, everyone was young, like mad young. You get me? Bare girl, like. There was like, say there's like 70 girl, there's 20 man. You get me? So, but it was powerful to see in a sense because it reminded me of the Nation of Islam. That's what it reminded me of, in a sense. But there's certain things didn't align with me when I went there. That's why I was like, I'm gone. You know, always there. There's certain little things, didn't align with me. But it's their thing, and I had to think, what would you rather join a gang or join Spat Nation?
Gang still. Yes. Yeah, yeah. I'd rather my child join a gang still.
Why? Whoa.
Because you see, even in gangs, like gangs are not always a bad thing. And I have to break this down to you. Yeah. A gang is not always a bad thing. It's what the people do in the gang that's a bad thing. Remember back in the days, man had gangs to protect their areas from other gangs of white men coming into the area and beating up black men. So black men would rise up. That's what they'll tell me. This is the old school Brixton man. They say they rise up. All of the yardie all of them rise up and say, boom. No man could come in the area and think he can NF man, jump out the van and try and take man. No, we've got a little gang here, you know what I'm saying? And I think they had a name for it, Frontline or whatever, but them man holding the fort. And that's why the other people said, raw, we can't even go Brixton anymore. It's a mad thing. They're running us down. So we jump out the van trying to, you niggas get them. And then them man said, huh? Yo, man. Bear man, I run. You know what I'm saying? So it was gang back in them times had a meaning, had a purpose.
Was it a gang or was it a community though?
You remember the police is the biggest gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
So
Facts.
gangs can mean different things. It just means a community of people that come together in the same place. You know, back in the day, even like other people had their own little gangs. Like you would say, my era, we had our own little gang. But our gang wasn't about killing people in there. It was about vibes, energy, friendship, love, and all of us came from kind of mashed up houses. So just being together was like a way of us escaping that household madness that we're going through, and that's us just showing love to each other.
Jesus was in a gang.
You know what I'm saying?
He rolled the 12 man all day.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Everyone had their own little gang. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
However you want to label it, that was their squad. That was their gang, and it wasn't always a bad thing. Does that make sense? But with Spac Nation now, you're talking about man's meant to be saying one thing. I'm hearing man doing madness, bro, taking dough, doing mad fraud. Like, bro, if my child is learning more corruption from people that say that they're righteous, then I'm scared for him because his morals are gonna get corrupted. See, I rather my child.
It weren't that though. When I was there, it weren't, bro. It was like, I'm not gonna lie. What they teach, man, because I went there like 5 years ago, 4 years ago. What they teach, man, if I followed, I'll be in a nice position now. Like in the sense, they was teaching, man, about Bitcoin from 5 years ago, bro. Cryptocurrency. That's how they was mashing peas. Like they were mashing mad peas. Because what they would do, they'll bring all their money together.
But here's where my thing. I challenge people on this. So I say, a righteous place is not meant to be filled with money. It's meant to be filled with poverty.
No.
Let me tell you why. I've been in Africa, yeah, and I've met some amazing, incredible people, but they never had a lot of money. But their hearts, bro. If a heart was full of gold, I met them when I went to Africa. If a heart is filled with gold, I met them when I went to Africa, but they never had a pocket full of gold. But their heart was full of gold. Character, amazing. Their facial expressions, the way they are. Like, I wanted to take their manners and character, just to take it and just adopt 5% of how they was as people. Like, as UK, you don't realize that you're very boisterous, you're very loud, you're very obnoxious, you're very sarcastic. You don't realize it. You only realize it when you go somewhere else and a man's saying, raw, like, their character, the way they treat you, everything is different. And that's why I said a righteous place cannot be filled with riches. It's filled with poverty. The most righteous people in history were never rich people, bro. The most corrupt people in history were the rich people. And if you go back into history, let's go back to Pharaoh, yeah? The Pharaoh of Egypt. Bro, he had all the riches in the world. I don't think anyone could have riches like he had. To the point where when man died, got put in a gold like tomb for him, you know what I'm saying? And there's all his riches are in there, everything. So you have to understand that them people, even though they had all that money, they was very corrupt. But Moses, who came up and helped all the people, was a poor man. He wasn't a rich man. So it's like sometimes we have to really go back to the times where we understand that if you go into a place and it's all about rich, it's all about money, it's good for us as a black community, but I don't think that righteousness is found where money is. That's my opinion.
Do you know what? I can't disagree with that to a certain extent, but there's a next side to it where, like, I think that poverty in the black community is promoted as like we're kind of taught that rich people are bad. You know what I mean? Like, even me, like the rabbit holes I went down, the so-called conscious conspiracy path I went down, when I was first in it, the pro-black thing and that, it was like, raw, Jay-Z's Illuminati is evil. This person, Drake's evil. It was like, and it was only people with money that was evil. You get me? Like, it was only people that were crazy balling that I couldn't reach myself that was evil. And I was thinking, raw, is this a blockage on the mind? You know what I mean? Because like, say like, I could say Drake, for instance. Like, say like what, like, I know he's bigged up man from ends and it's helped their career. And he's supposed to be evil, but even though the contents of the music that he's bigging up, I don't think he knows the levels of violence on the English streets, because Americans proper think that we're not on shit. You understand, when it comes to the hood stuff. Yeah. So you might just think they're just talking. It sounds nice, but you don't know. But I'm talking about the aspect of just helping a brother out when you're on the biggest platform in the world. You know what I mean? So I think in one sense, even like Pastor Toby talks about that we're taught. I'm not a Spac Nation member. I'm just, you know what I mean? It sounds like I'm promoting them or something. But I remember when he was saying like we're taught to hate money in it. When in the kingdom of heaven, you're supposed to be rich, and so above, so below. So if heaven, you're supposed to be rich, you're supposed to be nice down here as well. Like, we're not supposed to be poor. Poverty is a disease. You know what I mean? Like, poverty is a disease passed on to us from the white man. You know what I mean? From the power structures that be. because there was even something I was watching the other day. They said they want to keep Africa rich, so it's easier to rape. So it's easier to stick it on them because everyone in Africa, Congo alone, coltan that you put in phones. That should be one of the richest places in the world, but it's one of the poorest places in the world. How? Imagine if in Brixton or Peckham or something, there was coltan, bruv. But everyone in Peckham is poor, but it's got the resource that everyone in the world needs. That is, how does that even make sense? So it's set up for us to be in a poverty state of mind, I would say. Like, I'm just seeing this as I get older, I'm like, raw, we're proper set up to think being rich is a bad thing, bruv. Or we can only get to richness through evil. You know what I mean? Through evil means. Like, that's how I'm like growing up. Man would say, yeah, you can make it. Man, just pick up a couple boxes, go shot in OT, and that was the only way out. Or, you know what I mean? So I agree with you to a certain extent, but I do think that we are taught to hate rich people in a sense as well.
I don't think it's nothing hate. It's just about what you do with your money, because a rich person can be still righteous, and that's what I said. But it's not. Money's not a place that is found in righteousness. Righteousness.
What do you think of Nipsey then? Sorry to cut you. No, just it's just because it's in line with the thing.
Nipsey was a good role model for the people that he was around on the things that he done with his life. He changed his life around. He was a gangbanger that started to own a black business and believed in hustling and doing business and ethics, and he was a guy of good morals. He took care of his family. His family loved him, and it's very good as we see positive black role models taking care of their families, because I think they push this agenda that black men don't really take care of their kids and their family. It's a dirty thing. It's a dirty thing that is not true, and I don't know why it's only put on black people, but it's just like, it's a nasty thing. And then some black people reiterate that narrative on their own selves, and that comes from self-hate as well. Like, we always, because I know most of all my friends that I know are black, they all taking care of their families. If there's one or two, that's the minority. I'm talking about the majority, which I know. I can't speak on everybody else. But when you start engaging with a black person, it's like he's so quick to just put down their own black people. Like, he's not. But in his mind, if you ask him about his friends, most of his friends are doing that. So why is it that he has this narrative in his mind? It's because we've been programmed to believe this through the shows, through the programs, through everything that we've been put through. And it's the same. People have a narrative of black men. That's why they will say, yeah, black men are well endowed, and all this weird talk that could be true and could not be true. But the fact is that what you know is what makes facts. It's not what someone else tells you. Just remember that. Your experience is your facts, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Like the black dad thing, like everyone says that black dads are bad, but I think or that is pushed a lot. Not everyone says it, but that is pushed a lot. But by what I see in this generation, black dads want to be there for their children.
Amazing. They're incredible.
Exactly, and the side that ain't posted is that some man just get stopped from seeing their kids for no reason. Then they give up their fight. They're like, why am I going to keep on fighting and putting myself in stress? Because it's not good for me in the long run for my child. And that guy in America who found out a child he was raising, till it was like 7, he done a DNA test, he found out the child weren't his, then he had a heart attack, bruv. And to me, what message that paints, what everyone should take from that is that shows you how much a child means to a father. Because sometimes I think people think that fathers just ain't that connected as mothers, you know what I mean? Because even when I first had my son, I went with him for the first 6 years of his life for whatever me and the missus was going through. And I'm telling you, bruv, the first 3 years was mad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in a sense of mentally, like, waking up, my son's not there. I'm thinking I'm missing out on him growing up, even though I could see him every weekend. But to me, that weren't enough. I was like, raw, I'm not seeing my son grow. That's mad. You know what I mean? Like, and I think women don't take into consideration. Right, that our children mean just as
much to us as
you. You know what I mean?
I think it's an agenda that's still pushed against us again. That that black men don't want to be there for their children, but there's another side to that story which is not being spoken about, and I don't know why everyone's speaking about it. Everyone speaks about the negative side, but nobody speaks about the side of the women that stop the men from seeing the child and how that has an effect on the man. There's men that go through them things, and it turns them into savages.
Yeah.
They just go through life just beating gal and not caring about them. But you got to get an abortion. They're moving mad with girls because of this experience that they've had. But people don't actually understand that experience could actually be experience of trauma. You could have not gone through anything traumatic, but loved that child so much and wanted that child to be born so bad that now you're traumatized over not being able to see your child. And I think it's something that's not spoke about in the community. It's only one side that spoke about deadbeats. What about the man? What do you call the woman that stops a man from seeing his child? What's the name? What's the tag that we give her?
Bitch.
do you see what I'm saying?
No, but I think why it's a touchy subject as well, because it's a very touchy subject. It's a very
Everybody has experienced it and everyone's gone through it. The only thing is that I've realized this. A lot of men are embarrassed to say that she stopped me from seeing my children. So you think that people are going to judge you and think you're a deadbeat. I'm just telling every man out there, if you have been stopped, we're going to find a service for you that you can go to and talk to people about this so that you can get help in the legal way, in the mental way, in every single way, so that we can start healing each other, not just sitting there and crying and hiding our pain. A lot of times as black men, we hide our pain from people because we want to be these big tough guys and we don't want to show any emotion. But that's where the problem is. We have to show emotion because we're humans. Humans feel emotion. You can't sit there crying in your house every day that you don't see your children and you don't do anything about it. We have to start wising up and doing more. So that's another topic for another day though, but we're gonna get there. Have you ever suffered racism?
Yeah, couple times, man. But there was one when I was young. That was the first incidence of racism, and because I'm, what do you call it? What would I call myself? Like mixed race, but I'm not like on the outside mixed race, but my blood's mixed race. My mum's like fair skin, always there. My dad's black, but it was when I was with my mum. I was walking with my mum, and my mum's with her friends, and mum was about 7, and all these white guys was on the truck, bruv, and they must have not moved away. And one of my mum's friends, who was kind of rowdy, she's like, "Raw, move out of the way. Can't you see we're with kids and that?" And one of them must have said, "Oh, you black bitch," always there. And the guy, there was a guy with us. Big up Robert. There was a guy with us, and then he was like, "Raw, what are you doing? Like, move out of the way." Then they rushed him, bottled him. Remember, I'm a kid, and my mum's kind of aggy. You get me? She's trying to get involved. Like, "Raw, stop! What are you doing?" Then they bottled Robert and run him down the road. Tried to lick off his head with a scaffolding pole. This is like 20 white men, just on the road. And then we're walking fast now to get away because there was bare kids and bare women. Then we're at the bus stop now in Mitcham, and we're hiding behind the bus stop, and they're driving around on their van because it was an open back van, bare of them just looking for us, bruv. And that was from little, you get me?
Looking for you for what? What are they going to do to you?
I don't know what they was going to do, bruv. I don't know what they was going to do, but that was my youngest kind of, that was the first time I knew that, I'm black, bruv. Like that.
That is mad, bro. I've never heard that, bro.
And my nan, because my nan's proper white English, this weren't racism, this is kind of covert, but it was mad. Like, she's in the car now, then I'm walking towards the car, and she's a white woman, whatever, I'm just waiting in the car, and then I go to the car door, and my nan, and then the white woman in the car next to us banging the window, look, you get me, like telling my nan to wind up her window because I'm walking towards the car, and my nan's like, "That's my grandson." They're always there, but that was just a mad incident for me because it was like, that's my grandma, bro. You know what I mean? But because I'm so dark and whatever, like, I've had bare mad experiences, man. Because I've been, bro.
That's crazy, bro. That's mad. I can't know what to say to that, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. Another question. Do you think many of us suffer from childhood trauma?
Yeah, 100%, man. This goes back to my earliest incident with racism, Like, I ain't really said this online or nothing, but when I was younger, I got put into care for, it was, what's it called, when the police protective custody, because they raided my house in Mansfield. My dad must have been trapping in the house and whatever, and then he stopped because my nan threatened him, said, "Rav, you don't start trapping in the house with the kids there, I'm phoning the police on you." So she must have phoned the police on him now. And then they raided the house. Then they put me and my brother, because my brother's more fair-skinned than me, and they put us with some old white woman, bruv. Old white woman, yeah. Then we got put into that care. Then basically every time I used to get put in, we used to go shop or whatever, she used to put me outside in the corner because I was the darkest youth. And I was like 4, so I used to have to stand in the corner like this, and I was just treated differently. And I didn't know because I was 4, bruv. I'm like, raw. And she, you know what I mean? So that was from a yard, like from 4. That's my first childhood memory. Was those incidents, going to the shop, being left. My brother's inside the shop because he's young. He's like laughing. Nah, you're outside the shop. But when I look back, I was like, I was 4, bruv. You know what I mean? Put me in the middle of the... Bruv, yeah, that was my earliest...
What, put you in the corner and told you to stand?
To stand, because she just hated, man, because I was dark, you get me? Because remember, back then, mixed race was kind of a mad thing. Now you couldn't really put black kids into white care like that. You know what I mean? I don't think you can, correct me if I'm wrong. But then, yeah, my mum was pissed that I was put with an old white woman that didn't even know how to do man's hair or nothing, you know, them ways there. So yeah, that was just madness, bruv. That was my earliest. How did it relate to the question again?
Because you said, how do you think many of us suffer from childhood trauma?
Yeah, so that was a trauma. So that kind of made me like, so that's why I'm kind of relaxed now, because growing up, that's why I got into the pro-black thing from 16, because I want to know myself, like, I want to know my black side, like, you know, I used to kind of like reject my white side. I still love my white peoples, my white family and that, but like I used to think I'm a black man because that's all people see me as. When I went to Denmark when I was younger, I have a bare racist spirit. I was in Denmark now. That was a racist country. That was when I was like 10, and I got left in Denmark with my uncle, me and my cousin, and my mum was pissed that I got left there because my nan just left us there. But it was mad racist. Say my cousin had a fight, and he's that light-skinned mixed race. He had a fight with some Somalian youth. And then bare white youths are around, bare blue-eyed, blonde hair. They just look like the maddest Edomites Vikings. You know what I mean? They're all around the fire and they're like, beat the nigger, beat him, beat the nigger. And these times, the Somalian youth saw himself as white and they saw him as white, but they saw me and my cousin as black. So the Somalian youth was like, yeah, you're niggers. Because he grew up in Denmark. So he saw himself as white, you understand? He didn't see himself as black. So that was like 10 years old, and then my uncle, because he was like the only black don in he's not even black, he's proper fair skin, light skin. But you know when you're in a white country and you're fair skin, light skin, you're black, bruv. The people just see, oh, you're black, you know? So he just came out on the balcony and everyone ran because everyone was scared of him because he's the only black man like in Denmark, bruv. You know what I mean? And you could spot me a mile away, bruv, in Denmark. Like, Denmark was this racist back then, bruv. Racist. And that was 10 years old, you know what I mean? So, man, seen racism in different, like, so, but from 4 years old, the one back to the foster care and that traumatized me. And it's only recently, like the last 5 years, I clocked, raw, that really did affect me because that's my first childhood memory was that woman, you understand? And in the foster care environment, and I've realized that did kind of traumatize, man. You know, it made me aggy, like, towards white teachers and, you know what I mean? But okay. I didn't know where it was. Then I kind of identified it. I was like, no, that did play a big part in my life still, you know what I mean? Because that was my first, like, I knew what racism was from 4 years old. You shouldn't know about them things from 4 years old.
Not at 4, man. You meant to know.
I was different from my brother because my brother's more like proper red skin, like proper mixed race. You know, they're always there. Like even mixed race youths would say to me, you're not mixed race, you know what I mean? But I identify as black, you know what I mean? You're black, bruv. Then black youths would say, you're not black, you're mixed race. And you know what I mean? So I've kind of had it from, when you're mixed race and you're dark, it's like you have it from both everywhere, bruv. So you've had so-called racism from white people and black people kind of thing. And it's like, raw. But now I just identify myself, innit? You know what I mean? I am what I am. No one can tell me what I am. But it takes a long time to have that state of mind, I think, to not make what people say affect you. You know what I mean?
That's the hardest one. What does it mean to you to be black? What does it mean to you? When you say you're black, what does that mean to you?
A lot, man. A lot, like in the sense of like just like what we've been through here and what, especially as like my Jamaican side, like what they've done for the UK is something to be proud of. And people underestimate what Jamaicans have done for the UK, bruv. We've done, like, even in the slang, it's embedded. Like, I'm looking around, I'm hearing, what, go on, this, that, yo, fam, man. Yo, look around, it's little white youths, you get me? Or you look around, it's little Somali youths or whatever, and you're like, we embedded in this culture.
Yeah.
Like, we made Britain a vibrant place. Let's say the Caribbean, but Jamaican as such, because that's the most food shops is Jamaican. You understand? Like, let's say Jamaican because the music and whatever. Like, we've done so much for this country. It's funny how that's why I'm so proud to identify as black. And the first time I went to Jamaica, bro, as soon as I come off the plane, I want to cry. You know, them ways there, because it was weird. Like, everyone was black.
Black, yeah.
The fireman, the doctor, bruv, it was just like I felt home. You know when that man said, what's that? Ole, ole, it's coming home. But
Yeah.
I felt at home. I don't know about them, man, but here you feel out of place sometimes. You go in the middle of the countryside, bruv, certain towns. I remember we went to Derbyshire with a workplace, bruv, and we walked into the chip shop. Everyone was just looking at us like, you know, you don't feel that in a black country. You feel at home. You blend in straight. I've never felt that because I've been to bare European countries and I went to Jamaica late as a big man when I was kind of conscious as well. So that touched me, bruv. Like, it felt different. Just that, you know, and like, yeah, like just representing what my granddad and all them things there. Yeah, so being black just means... Yeah, man, this means everything, man. But like I said, being black is a state of mind, innit? Like, not even black, just being a coloured not even coloured, let me take that word out.
Melanated.
A melanated person means a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I feel blessed to be darker. You know what I mean? I should have been fair-skinned, bruv. I should have been like Drake or Chris Brown. You get me, guys? So I feel blessed to come out like this, you know what I mean? I think it even means more to me, to some black people, to tell you the truth, because I could have been, you understand? I could have been a confused light-skinned youth, bro. But this just made me more solidified in myself. So it means a lot, because I started studying. I want to know my black side differently, bro. From I was young, I saw a book. My dad had The Distraction of Black People and had a mad picture. Then I started to go into the Dr. Malachi Yorks and...
Yeah, that guy's books are crazy. He had a book about pigs, bro. I never forget. whoever made me read that book, boy, that book mashed my head up, blood. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
You eat pork?
No, never.
Well, you saying that book just...
Yeah, I never ate pork before that, but that just made me look down on pork in a different way. Like when he said how it formed from the dog and and man gave some historical contents, and I was like, raw, it's kind of deep still. Like, it made me proper think, but I don't know what they done with that guy, but yeah.
He's in jail, innit, for 121 years for
pedophilia or something.
Pedophilia, and he can't even write a book no more, bruv. You know, he's written the most books in human history, bruv.
Has he?
He's in the Guinness Book. Look it up. He's written the most books, bruv. Like, in a certain period of time, he's written so many books.
Yeah, he got rubbed out, man.
That's why they had to rub him out, fam. He had his own flipping land in America with pyramids and sphinx and a whole...
Yeah, he was trying to do some next stuff.
Cult, like a cult type of thing. Yeah.
Some of the things he said made sense. Some things just crazy. But
yeah, like everyone, like, it's not everyone I agree with. I just take jewels and from what resonates with me. It's not like if I say Malcolm X, it's not everything Malcolm X stood for, but a lot of it, I take jewels from everyone. You can get jewels from a crackhead, bro. You know what I mean? It don't mean I'm gonna agree with the crackhead on everything, but he just dropped a mad jewel to me. 100%. Don't mean I'm gonna discard it because he takes food. You know what I mean? Like, I believe you can get jewels from anywhere and anyone, fam. You know what I mean?
That's actually true. I think a lot of people underestimate that wisdom can come from the most. It comes from the most random places sometimes. Even your child, my children sometimes drop jewels on me. Let me show you what happened the other day. My daughter saw me drop something litter, but I've told my kids from young, never litter. It's a bad thing. Man littered, bruv, in front of her. I see her reaction. She held me accountable for my actions as her parent. She didn't feel afraid.
How old is she?
She's 6.
Oh,
so she said, Dad, you left this. And she brought it to me and said, Dad, you know, not leaving stuff, it's not good. You told me this, Dad. And the way I felt inside, I looked, I said, you're right, you're correct. And I'll stand corrected. Thank you very much. And I will not do that again. Because I feel like sometimes as people as parents, they don't want to say to their children that they're wrong. And I feel like just to show your child that they can hold you accountable is a good thing, because it makes them very confident in themselves. So if someone big tries to tell them something and they don't believe in it, they can actually say, no, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. And I want you to be a strong-minded person. I don't want you to be a weak-minded person where someone could just come and tell you, yeah, you have to do this. And she's like, yeah, all right. Like, because she's not got strong character. Doesn't make sense. Strong character starts from your family life, you know, and how you interact with your family. That starts off strong character. A lot of men, we focus a lot on the boys, and we neglect the daughters. We're like, let the mum raise it, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to. When the girl needs that, a lot of nurturing and
facts
and love, and not just love, but education and nurturing. I just say nurturing because nurturing is such a big topic. But yeah, she corrected me, bro, and I felt away. I felt away first. Looked at her, felt away. Looked at her, thought,
who are you talking to?
I said, yeah, give me that. I shouldn't do that. And I actually looked for a bin. It took me some time to find a bin because I didn't want to litter. But it's good that children have confidence like that. But
you know when that happens, when they correct you, it's because they're your mirror, fam. That's your mirror. That's you talking to you, kind of thing, in a mad multi-universe thing. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you told me not to drop. Now you drop. Yeah.
But she was on to me, bro. She wasn't letting it go. Like, you know, you're trying to blank them, and they're just like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, you can't do this. It's not good. And I looked at her and I thought, you're right. You're correct. I'm wrong. I won't do it again. I'm sorry. Like, because I like my children to hear me say that I'm sorry. If I've made a mistake, I like to generally.
Mums take note.
Yeah, I like them to know that. Well, if I've made a mistake, then boy, look, I've made a mistake. I'm sorry, and I won't do it again. Because I feel like that strengthens kids' character, because it makes them know that they can hold you accountable if they see you doing wrong. I don't think that, because when I was growing up, I couldn't tell my parents anything, bro. I come from Jamaican household, but if they say something, bruv, you just gotta hold it. Like, you know in your mind, this is wrong what they're saying. Like, I remember my mom said, don't tell lies to me, yeah? And I never forget this, yeah? I always use this example, but someone will call on the house phone, and she'll be like, Dad, I'm not in. And I'll be sitting there looking at her, barefaced lying to the person, you know. Yeah, my mom's not here. Yeah, she's gonna be back in about half an hour. Call back in half an hour and she'll be all right, yeah? All right, no problem. And she just taught me how to lie. Now, when I lie to her, she says, who left the plate in the sink? I have no, still. It must be Junior, man. It must be Junior. These times, she's like, it was you. Junior's even in the house. Like, bruv, it was Junior. He came in. You've taught me how to lie. So I don't want my children to learn bad things and me not be corrected if they catch me doing bad things. You know what I'm saying? So I've tried to teach them good things, but I don't even know how we got on that topic. But I don't even know how we even got on that topic. What do you think is the downfall of the streets? Like, what's the downfalls? Because everyone talks about the pluses and stuff. Like, what's the downfalls of the streets?
Wow. Where do I start? Do you know what is with me? A lot of people, get it twisted, because I promote bare knowledge and all of this stuff on my page. It's like I've had people say, you're not even from the streets and all this stuff. And I just laugh. Even one of my friends stopped me, ain't seen him for long, Big up Mud, I saw him. He's like, I ain't seen this brother for long, like years, 10 years. And he's like, yeah, I follow your account, man. How come you don't talk about the roads and what going and what happened? And I rate that though, you know, always there, because I was born into it. A lot of people weren't born into this. A lot of people had good brothers and parents in good jobs, then they chose to be in the road. You understand? There's a difference, I think, when you're born into it. You understand? Because like I said, when I was in care or whatever, it's because my dad was trapping in the house in Mikesfield, and man was seeing mitties coming out the door. Like, from young, man was born into this. So it's like, for me, it's just different. It's like, so much man think that that's a way out, but in the long run, my man's in jail for 35 years. My man's dead. You know, when you're young and they say you end up dead or in jail, you used to think it was like, even me saying this, I feel old, guys, you know what I mean? But it's dead or in jail or in the mental institution. But the mental institution, the only thing I would say, you can bounce back from that, innit? Sometimes,
that's the hardest one though. Yeah,
but sometimes I've seen people bounce back from it, man. You know what I mean? Like, you can get out of that situation, cause like I don't know, this is going into mental illness kind of thing. What we gotta understand is everyone has belly aches, bruv. You know what I mean? Mental illness, like, it's the same thing. Anyone can have a headache. Anyone can have a mental problem. You know what I mean? In the black community, I think, and in the street life, That's what, a lot of these youths are walking around and they got mental problems.
100%, brother.
Yeah, and they don't even know. They don't even know. My man's lost 3 dons within a year or 2, bro. Close brethrens. Don't you think he's going through stuff in his head? Like, so his whole perception of life now is like fast and furious. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a damn about nothing. You know, them ways there. So the downs of the street life is it can make you cold, you know what I mean? And you don't even know it, like insensitive, like, and in the long run, it will catch up with you as well. Certain man, like I know a man that was doing stuff like licking it and doing stuff from young, and they never got caught. I can't get caught, fam. I feel unstopped. I feel untouched. I feel on top. Then when it catches up with you, boy, you're out of the game, innit, for 10 years, 5 years or whatever. You know what I mean? Because I'll see my big brother go in and out of prison because my big brother used to lick it, you know what I mean? Like banks and pop. So that's why I've never been prison, because of my big brother. And I thank him for that, you know what I mean? Because I saw it firsthand. Because even though he went into jail first time when he's 13, first time I was going to jail to see him was when I was 10. So he weren't going into jails when he was 10, but I was. Even though I weren't in jail, I was going into a jail, had to be searched. As a young youth, I remember just crying one time after I got searched and I was young. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, fuck. Tears just started rolling from my face because man was 10. You know what I mean? Going into a jail to see my brother and that. Then seeing him there. I remember I went one time, he had some black eyes behind the glass and that. And man just crying. And you know them ways there, like. So man saw all of that. So it was like we was both in jail. You know what I'm saying? Because you see it in the house, it's like your mum's in jail when Christmas, you can tell your mum's energy is different. Like she's thinking about the son that's not there. This is what people don't take. No one's there for you, fam, apart from your mum. So your mum, you know when they say your mum's always right? Sometimes she's wrong, but most of the time when it comes to the street shit, your mum is always right.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I seen it when my brother's in jail. Even though my mum never had much or whatever, she was always there for him. You know what I mean? As much as she could be, you know, and a lot of youths don't see the effects that what they're doing, it has on their little sisters, their little brothers. They don't think about that. It affects you. I see the effects on my little sisters and rare, big bro's always in jail, rare. But at the same time, I see it as a positive now. I learned a lot and I thank him, you know what I mean? And I seen the downside to the hood. You know, like I could name like 20 people I know dead from the streets. Like just off the top of my head, like 20 man. Like the first time I lost my brethren was someone close to me was my brethren Sammy when I was 17. He was trapping in a house somewhere in London and someone petrol bombed the house with him in there, fam. You know what I mean? And one of my next brethren was in there, Bush, and he survived. He was the last one to come out and he had 90% of his body burnt. Everything burnt apart from his hood. You know, them was there. Man was in hospital. He was in hospital. Imagine, this is why my mind changed from when I was young. I went to hospital to see him. Doctors are saying he's not going to survive. This, that, he can't hear you. Like he's brain dead. They was telling his mum to lock off the machine. I took my friend's hand, I holded his hand. And because I know him, he's like a person that's intact with his gut. Like he's very deep brother. And I said, hold his hand. I said, fam, are you going to pull through? Let me know from now on so I can grieve. Let me know, do this, because we used to be we had a little crew or whatever called EL. Are you gonna survive for EL? It sounds cool as fuck, but that's what I said to him. You know what I mean? And he's, fam, when I tell you, man got all this stuff, tubes coming out of everywhere, his whole body pink, like 90% of his body was like 3rd degree burns, fam. Bro, he squeezed my hand like... And then from that day, I was like to his mum, he's going to pull through. And imagine the doctor said that he can't hear you, he can't this, that. And then it's only a couple years ago, like 5-6 years ago, he's all right now. He's still got like burn marks and certain things, a hole in his neck from where the tube used to be, but he can walk, talk. He's had 2 wives, he's got 4 kids. They said he'll never be able to breathe, he'll never be able to talk, he'll never be able to walk. But he said to me a couple years ago, he's like, raw fam, you know, when I was in that thing, I heard you. You're the reason why I came through. You know, when I squeezed your hand, that brought me through, fam. You know, and that day when I saw him in hospital, that changed. I didn't want nothing to do with the streets. From that day, I remember my other brethren's dead, you know, on the same time. So when I'm visiting my friend, he was supposed to die as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, that changed me when it comes to the street shit from young, bruv. Just seeing that. Then after that, just bare other man just dropping out. So I just stayed away from the streets from young, bruv. You know what I mean? But I was still in it. I was still shotting, even like holding certain stuff for people. Machine, you know, man was still about, innit? But I was smart. Like I was proper, like not in it though. I knew not to get too deep because I know where it's gonna go, bruv. And I weren't planning to go jail. That's one thing in my mind. I was always said, bruv, whatever happens, bruv, I'm not putting myself in a predicament where I have to go jail. Because I had my son young at 20, because as soon as my brethren died, I was like, I'm having a youth. Because everyone was saying at the funeral, you know, Jamaicans like, he might even have a yacht. You know what I mean? And
That's the first thing they say. Yeah, it's the first thing they say.
First thing, him should have breathed, so man, at least him have something for carry on these things. So this, I'm having a baby. You know what I mean? Say that straight away. So that changed me from young. So the youths just need to know that the streets, like, it's no joke, fam. It's no joke. But these youths are so desensitized. It's mad.
I think we all become though, because when you see all this killing and all this stuff, it's like, yeah, another youth's dead. It's like, yeah, it's like, man said to me, how can you? I said, brother, I got traumatized from seeing the video of the youth dying. Yeah, man saying, well, you getting traumatized? You're a weak heart. You're not brave. I'm like, bro, you think it's normal to see a little youth bleed out on the streets? You think that's something normal? You think this is a game? You think this is Call of Duty? That's someone's son, bruv.
Yeah.
That could have been me. You know, I always think when I see these little youths, I think, that could have been me, you know? Because I was knee deep doing all this stuff. The only thing is that, bro, if I felt something was off, I'm keeping it moving.
It's same.
Brother, I'm keeping it moving. If I see four bookie cars, I'm dusting the next way. Man's call me coward, call me whatever you like, bro. I don't care. I'm here today to talk my stuff. I can wake up in the morning and talk my stuff. Call me whatever you want. I don't care. If man saw 10 guys running at me, brother, I'm gone. I'm cutting. And I'm cutting fast as well. Yeah, Usain Bolt in it. Yeah, and I don't care what man say tomorrow. Brother, I'm not dumb. If you see me blowing and we're together, bro, you better start running as well. Don't stand there and try to be a Braveheart, bro, because I'm not running back if I see knives and guns. But what am I doing? I'm not fighting that. So, me personally, I think some of the youths, they want to be these Bravehearts and these true killers and all that. But I always say this to youths. You see the youth that was brave, yeah, and he's dead, yeah? Did he ever tell you that he was brave? Dead man can't talk.
Exactly.
But the man that run can still talk his talk. You know what I'm saying? So
like even Bruce Lee, best fighter, like one of the best fighters the world's seen in commercial sense. He used to say, "Raw, bro, I'm not fighting. I'm running away. I'm only fighting if I'm backed in a corner, because you never know what someone's got. You get me? So from man like Bruce is saying that, who am I to just stand? Like you only fight if you have to, bro. That's what I try to tell people, because I could punch someone in the head, they're dead. Like to me, that's the last thing I'm gonna do. Like even when I go clubbing with some of my young G's, not my brethren. You get me? See how man's brainwashed young G's, like I'm in a gang. Like some of my brethren, yeah, they're a bit younger than me, but they're a bit more aggy. You get me? But I make them know, when you come out of me, bro, you're not fighting, bro. Like we squash it no matter, like unless we have to. Obviously there's gonna be a time when you might have to fight, but that's last resort, because I know once I lose it, I'm gone. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do once I see red. That's why I don't like to switch or get into fights, because I know if a man punches my face, I'm gonna wanna do him something. Like you think I'm trying to get punched in my face for fun, or my nose broken, that's dead, fam. You know what I mean? So fighting's always the last resort for me, bruv. Like
I feel like a lot of situations can be resolved by just having conversations, and I've seen with the younger generation, a lot of elders are not having conversations, and they say, "Oh, my man's not gonna listen." Them ignorant, but bro, still talk to him. You never know. You know, sometimes man will say something to you now. In 10 years from now, man look back and say, "Oh man, I was talking sense. You know, I need to allow it still. I need to allow it still." Like, but you wanted him to accept it straight away, and you have to remember when you was younger, when man told you things, you didn't listen. Like me, I didn't listen to no one. All the elders you saying the same thing to me. Brother, you're moving too fast. You need to slow down. What are you talking about, bro? What's wrong with my man? He's moving moist. I didn't realize what my man meant until I had to sit down in a place where I had to slow down. Like,
so you're just supposed to leave the young bucks to go through what they're going through then?
That's what I'm trying to say.
In a certain extent.
Yeah. You have to talk to them and realize that talking to them all the time will eventually pay off. Eventually, don't, because sometimes we expect them to just, we want automatic change. We're in this generation where it's all about automatic gratification. I'll give you an example. Someone posts something. Man posts a sick picture. I'm saying his picture's a sick picture. It's gonna get bare likes. No likes, 2 hours. I'm saying all my bridges are ops. All you man them are ops. All of you man them are big ops. You see me shining and you don't want to see me shine. You're hating on me. All you man are hating on me. All you guys are hating on me. Everyone's hating on me. I don't like no one anymore. But the realization is maybe nobody even seen the post yet. You know, maybe everyone's busy working. Maybe everyone's sleeping. Maybe everyone's tired. Maybe everyone's on a different app. Bro, I don't know. So it's like we want that instant gratification.
I used to be like that, especially with music, bruv. Even though I do it for fun now, but when I used to like post something, a freestyle or something, I say, bro, but my man's liking my man's thing, but you're not liking mine. Like, I'm your family. I don't get it. But me, like, I'm with my Instagram or whatever, like, I don't understand why someone I know wouldn't want to like my thing. But even if you don't like it, even if I see you do a freestyle and I don't like it, I'm gonna like it just because I know it helps you.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah.
Like, me to like and comment is less than under a second.
But you know what? I
put that sign and a like.
I put that down to a lot of people just in general, just they don't even look at it like it's anything. It's like they probably even thought they liked it and they even like it. It's man, I'm mad, you know, and they won't even realize it. I feel like some people online are just there just to be there. Look, I've never understood this. My story, look at this. My story gets 130 people that see my story, yeah, but I get 20 likes. That means more people want to watch me but don't really like me. So you have to understand. You have to understand the logic, my brother. A lot of people a lot of people watch you, but they don't like you, and it's mad. Like, they want to see what you're on, but I don't like you. It's a weird.
That's weird. Shit.
Yeah, it's a weird. And a lot of people, they're from the older generation. If unless the thing resonates with them properly, they don't even want to like the thing, because man will like everything else except for your thing. But I don't really take offense to it anymore, because I think that strangers are the reason why you'll get rich. I don't think it's your friends. The amount of people that show me love that I don't know made me realize that we're in a generation of, bro, I need to make new friends and new connections. It's not about staying to your own peoples. You start off, that's your foundation, but that's not your worldwide base. And you can see it with every single person. Think about it. People start off in their hoods and then they get big on their hood. But then eventually, like, I'm just talking about music and stuff like that, but I'm just talking in general, yeah. But then they branch out and then they start to become worldwide and people love them all over. Then they can go anywhere and everyone will love them. I feel like you start off in your area, but then you build. So your base starts off with your people, your family, that's your foundation. But then you move on. Because a lot of people, they don't even clock you sometimes because they're on their own thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's how it kind of goes, bro. So I don't really take offense to it anymore. I used to get upset, but I don't even panic. I got so much other supporters.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I feel like blocking everyone I know that don't support my thing. I feel like, why you just what? Then I'll see it. No, but the thing is, I will see, man. A man be like, I see your page, fam. Yeah. But I'm like, you don't comment or like. So you're just peeping. Do you know? Have you heard of the evil eye, bro?
Yeah, evil eye is real.
It's real. So man, what is he do? Like, man, to me, if you're not liking or commenting, you're just evil eyeing them. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's a bad mind thing.
It's a bad mind thing, because I'm telling you, most people know that it helps your page's algorithm if they comment. They know it's a sheep thing. If I see fire on something, I'm thinking, why is there fire? I'm gonna put fire. Like, so imagine I got like 21 cousins, bruv, like just from one side of my family. That's just my first cousins, yeah. That's just my first like, I'm like, right, if all of you just like my thing, everyone else will follow. If my 21 cousins shared my thing, that'll be mad, you know what I mean? But it don't. But like you said, bruv, the last year, the love I've been getting from strangers has been amazing.
And it got me to
look
the point.
At me and using an example.
Thank you very much. And that's what I'm trying to say. I would rather work with people that want to work with me than have family members that just don't really want to work with me. But it's like I'm forcing it. I don't even care about that. I'm just focused on the people that are supporting my thing. And I think once you get to that point, you always win, because you're not really worried about that, and that doesn't take any of your energy on your mind space, because sometimes it takes some of your mind space, you know. Well, my man's moving bad, man, you know. I saw my virgin, you know, he's moving, and then that take up some of your mind when really you should be focusing on that man out there that is actually liking what you're doing and saying, raw, I listened to your thing, I sat there for half an hour and listened to your whole thing. Like, I'd rather one person do that than 5 of my family members kind of thought, I don't watch this when I'm watching this. Because remember, your family, they think that they know you, so it's like, it's kind of seeing you from another. It's kind of a hate and love relationship. But with a stranger, he doesn't know you to hate you, so he's just like, it's all love. I'm only seeing.
What
you.
is your stranger like? Say a stranger I just know you through podcasting.
Yeah.
That's all I know about you.
Yeah.
So when I meet you, it's just on a podcasting thing.
Yes, it's on
there's
a positive.
no feelings.
Yes.
There's no emotions from back in the day.
Yes.
When you
didn't bang me in the face. You never stole my bike of mine from
You never
Mars.
text my girl. You know, it's there. So it's just fresh ground, like, bruv. Like how much people I've been meeting, like at the protests I go to and stuff. It's amazing, bruv. And the love they show, man. Like it's not even that. Even black people, whatever, the love I've been getting from strangers has been amazing.
Yeah, and that's what, man. I feel like that's what we need to put our focus on. Not this fake friends and all this, bro. Man's your friend. Man loves you, but man just
was your friend before you was podcasting.
Yeah, so man's still your friend. Does it make sense? I don't think none of my friends are fake for not liking my stuff. Like, I know the man that's a little bit iffy because I can see them, man. But
you have to question
them.
But
most of my brethren, they're real men. Like some of them won't even be online like that. So it's like
that's different.
So them man are not even. Them man come online, probably look at your post quickly and then jump off. That's how them man are. They're not really tech savvy. You could tell when man's with you, man's moving. Yeah, look at this. I'm like it, and if you like, he's like, I don't like everything, and I'm looking at it, you're weird. Like my brother's weird. So I know that that's how he's certain people's mindsets. So it's like. I can't really take offense to it, man, because I just got to focus on the people that do show me love, not the other people that don't show me love.
And you can't get rich of the people you know.
No, you will never get rich off them. They wouldn't even probably buy from you. They'll say, yeah, I'm going to link you tomorrow. Never link you. A stranger now, he will link you because he doesn't know you, but he wants to know you because he wants to build new networks. So you'll be like, yeah, I'm coming to buy something off you tomorrow. And that's why people don't realize that your network is your net worth. You know what I'm saying? So if you make good connections with people, and I always tell people, it's always good to keep good relations with people. Not always create enemies. No matter what someone else is saying about someone, if I've got a good relationship with you, I'm going to maintain a good relationship. Forget what everyone else has got to say. Me and you do good business. And I think this is how a lot of other communities, not saying any names, other communities win. They'll hear the maddest stories about my man, but they'll still work with him. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because there's a business, there's a gain from it. But a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, I don't want to work with him because he said that, or he said this. And that's so like, that's like kind of the street mentality in the kind of social media world. Like, yeah, because he works with my man, I can't work with him, or he works with them guys. Bro, we're on social media. We're not gangsters and we're not murderers and killers where we're saying, right, here's codes and on.
Yeah, that's what thing you were saying. Styles P was saying that when it comes to business, he'll work with a snitch because it's business.
It's business, bro.
He'll work with like LGBT because it's business.
It's business.
And I was like, for real, it's business.
No, but I'm saying if you worked in a shop here and a gay person came in, you're not going to say, I'm not serving you because you're gay. So what makes you have that same energy now behind a computer? This is what I'm saying, man.
Or you're there with a wound, like a car crash, and a gay doctor's coming, hey, I'd like to help you. You're not going to move.
You're just saying, help me then. My arm is out of place. Can you kick it back? He's like, we're going to have to do operation on the arm. And you're not really even, you don't even care about his orientation at that moment. Exactly. You're just thinking, I'm in pain. Yeah. So I feel like sometimes people, the lines get blurred sometimes, man. And we start to say things that are weird to each other. You know what I'm saying? And then as a black community, it even gets worse because like we're not even working with each other correctly because we're not moving right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, it's full. Yeah, okay. So we're not even like moving right because we're not even just doing the right things to each other. So it's kind of crazy, bro. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, man, this is a good episode, man. Some good points. Some good points. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up. Tell everyone your Instagram.
London Open TV. Yeah, you can follow man on that still.
Yeah, London Open TV.
Yeah.
That's the place, man. Everyone go like, comment and subscribe. Check us out on the Spotify again. Another episode out. Shout out to my brother.